Good afternoon. My name is John. I'll be your boat captain for the next 2.5 miles across this old river walk. How many first timers on a boat?
Oh.
That's always good to see. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. To San Antonio. This is the first time in San Antonio. All right. We're just a few house rules before we get going. All right, guys. Please no standing whatsoever when the boat's in motion like this. And also, we always warn our guests to kind of keep all the body parts inside the wooden rail. When we come next to boats like this or walls, it gets a little scary. So just for safety precaution, all right? And third, we have 40 brand new life preservers. 20 there, never been used. Nobody wants to use them. You know why? It's not very deep here. Let me tell you how deep it is in a second. Now, we've all seen the movie Titanic, right? You know how Rose gets all dramatic when Jack's in the water, right? Jack comes back, blah, 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 over and over. Well, if this boat was to sink right now to the bottom, you know what? The water level might reach the top of the boat. Might. It's not very deep. It's about 3.5 feet all around the downtown area. So, having said that, this is my advice to you. Should you fall in the water today, tomorrow, next week, next year, when you come to San Antonio, if you fall in the water, stand up straight, cover your face real quick, and then run to your side. And you know why I say cover your face? Because you're going to be on somebody's Snapchat, Instagram, or Facebook. If you don't, it happens. I've been here a long time. That's exactly what people do. They run up to you with a cell phone, take a picture, and they're gone. They're not there to help you. All right, we're entering the Arneson River Theater. This theater right here actually holds 800 people. You see where you see the green? That's where people sit. You don't want to sit there during the summer though. It is super hot and there is no shade whatsoever. Now that little stage across it over here on the right hand side, guess what? You know who made that stage famous for San Antonio? Sandra Bullock. She was here in the year 2000 to film the movie Miss Congeniality right there on that little stage right there. Now anybody remember that movie? And no one said, oh wow, I thought it was just me. Okay. The part that I recall from that movie is when they asked Miss Rhode Island what was her perfect date. What day did she say? Exactly, not too hot, not too cold, something like that, right? It all happened right there on that little stage right here. And it's Arneson River Theater. Now, straight ahead, you're going to see a bronze statue right there. That is a Briscoe Western Art Museum. If you like art, if you like history, that is a place to hang out for a nice, cool afternoon. That building right there, back in 1930s, that used to be a public library. Then in 2013, it opened up as Briscoe Western Art Museum. Now, I've been there twice. I'm going to say in the past, say 3 years, and the thing that I remember, I guess the thing that I liked seeing, was I remember seeing the cannons that were used at the Alamo. They're in there. Some of the cannonballs that were dug up in that area are in there. Santa Ana ceremonial sword, Pancho Villa saddles. But the thing that really that stuck in my mind, my favorite, I guess, item in that museum was a fully restored Wells Fargo stagecoach. Cherry red, looks like a brand new car. And if you're walking through right here at night, if you're standing right there, you can actually see it through the windows right there. You cannot see it during the day, but at night it's lit up, so you can actually see that wagon. It's pretty cool. Now straight ahead, you see that bridge? That's when we ask our guests, please do not stand. Major headache if you hit that thing. It's a cast iron bridge. There are 12 of these in the U.S. and guess what? San Antonio happens to own 5 of these. They're cast iron bridges built back in the 1890s. They're built a long time ago. And you look at the bridge, you say, hey, it kind of looks like a brand new bridge. It's very solid cast iron. Manufactured by a company called Berlin, Connecticut. Now you don't have to put your head down or lean on your neighbor's lap or anything like that. Just watch your cameras when we go into this bridge. Oh, I'm supposed to put my head down. I forget. I'm alright. I'll shake it off. I'm alright. You see that table on the right hand side? 2 little hands right there? That is called Father Massenet's praying table. Who was Father Massenet? He was a Spanish priest, the first Spanish priest that gave Mass here over 300 years ago. 300 years ago. That is a long time ago. You see that little island on the right hand side? It's called Marriage Island. Before COVID, we used to have anywhere from 200 to 300 weddings on that island. If you Google Marriage Island, that's what's going to show up. Shaped like a little heart. And again, everybody wants to get married on that island. You know why? It is said, should you get married on this island, you are going to have a lifetime of good fortunes. Not more than one. Like, what does that mean? Well, I found the definition of that, my interpretation. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. Yours truly was married here in the year 2007. Yes, I was. And then yours truly came back in 2017 and married somebody else. So I guess I was fortunate enough to find a second wife the second time. A lifetime of good fortunes. There you go. That's my story I'm sticking to. All right, look to the right of the boat right there. You see the beautiful tile mural on the wall? It's kind of, to me, it's kind of like a sad place down here. You know why? Because if you were here in the 1800s, 1900s, you would have seen a grain mill, a water mill, horses being washed, horses being fed right here. This right here was a super highway for Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders. Why? The ground here, it is solid like cement, and it's very shallow. Anybody coming to San Antonio with horses or buggies, they got no problem sticking to the ground right here. That is why, you know, it's kind of sad now that all that's left is a picture on the wall. It says Old Mills Crossing, last known place. Kind of history gone away forever and ever. Now, once we exit, this is the Marble Street Bridge right here. I'm going to move the boat a little bit to the right. Two reasons. There's shade, and also there's a building on the left-hand side that I want you to look at. That big building on the left-hand side is called a Tower Life Building. I'm going to try to keep this in the shade here, all right? Try to keep it in the shade as long as I can. Let me see if I can move to the shade. See that building right there? It is 403 feet tall. Look at the very, very top. You see those things sticking out? They look like ugly dragons, like gargoyles. Who's seen the movie Ghostbusters? Does that look familiar? Alright, well that's not it. That's in New York City. But anyway, kind of the same idea, right? It's got those ugly things sticking out like that. And the intent, you know what? This building is called a Tower Life Building. It is 403 feet tall. The flagpole is about 100 feet. I'm a San Antonian, and I have never been in this building. You know why? It's always under construction. Guess what it is today? Under construction. This building, listen to the timeline. It opened in June of 1929 at a cost of $3 million. The owners, the builders, very superstitious. They had those things put on there, those ugly dragons. Do you know what the intent was? If we put ugly features outside the buildings, it'll scare away bad business and evil spirits. Let me show you what else they did to the building. See if I can put my laser here. Okay. Look to the building over here on the left-hand side. Look what else they did to the building. They put ugly faces all over the walls. The intent, if we do this, it's going to scare away bad business. Unfortunately for them, it did not work. Listen to the timeline one more time. Opened in June 1929, cost $3 million. What happened in August of 1929? The stock market crashed. Guess what happened to this building a year after that? Auctioned off for $300,000. Bad business deal. Again, the intent, scare away bad business, evil spirits. Did not work at all. Now, on a personal note, I like to bring personal notes to my story. You know what? My mother, not my mother. Yeah, my mom has a sister named Lupita, right? So that makes her my aunt. So my aunt is on this wall right here. Let me show you. And I'll show you a picture of my aunt. I have my water. Said, "Damn, John, that is your aunt." And you know, and I saw her on Mother's Day. Said, "Tia, when I go to work, I see your beautiful face on the wall." She said, "Oh, thank you, mijo." Like one day, I'm afraid she's going to come see that face, and I can't show her that face. They're called ugly faces, right? But anyway, that is her. That is her. I'm going to show you a face. If I have to show her that face, I'm going to show her another face that I'm going to tell her that's her, but not this one. That is her. Anyway, I do night tours, right? And I like to scare my night tours. I can't scare you guys. It's day tour. It's not the same. You see where that pigeon's at? Well, right, picture this. 8:30 at night, there'll be like 30 pigeons right there. 30 pigeons staring us down. And I would tell you, if you make any noise when you go to this bridge, you know what's going to happen, right? So nobody makes noise. Everybody's coming through. So here's my pitch. I said, whatever you do not look up. If you look up, close your mouth. So if you have a hat, put it on. If you have a hoodie, put it on. If you have a small child, shield yourself with that kid. Cover yourself. Cover your drink. We're going to here. The pigeons are staring at us. We're looking at them, and nobody wants to get hooked on so they're not. And then this horn on the boat does not work. Otherwise, I would blast the horn right here for you. And they would scare the wind out of them. You know what? They deserve to be scared for being out in the lake. I wouldn't do that. You see. Now look to the right of the boat right here. You see that beautiful building? That's the International Trade Center. The first two floors used to be called NAFTA, now it's called USMCA, Canada, Mexico, US, do the bidding and trading. And the third floor is called Vega on the Bank. It's a nice, elegant restaurant. And then the very bottom of this building is a marina. Del Rio has two marinas just like that. We have 43 of these beautiful boats, 43 in our fleet. They're electric. Each one is 12 horsepower. You plug them in at night, they're good for the full day. Top speed, we've been traveling top speed since we left the dock over there. 6 to 7 miles per hour. Straight ahead, that building, the oldest courthouse in the state of Texas. It has been there since 1897. It is a fully functional courthouse. Beautiful red sandstone, green tile, Barrett County Courthouse. And I look at it every time I do a tour and I still get the chills. I've been there twice and you know what. Anyway, that green light up ahead, we're gonna make a choice right here as a group. We're gonna make a group choice. Choice number one, I'll make a left turn. We go to the Gulf Coast. Should be back within 6 or 7 days, give or take. I'll make a right turn, then we take you, and eventually I'll take you back to the Historia where I picked you up. Who wants to go to the coast? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dag nabbit, need about 10 more rows. All right, so we're gonna keep on going straight. We ain't going to the coast. Now look to the sides of the walls right here. You see how it has a scrape on each side? This is actually a flood control gate. The flood control gate is like a tailgate on a pickup. It's underwater, so you don't see it. But if we had torrential rains or flash floods, that gate will raise up. We don't want water going behind you. We want water going north to south that way. So that is the flood control gate number 4. We're going to make a right turn here. We're going to be going north from the San Antonio River. This river is a spring-fed river. It does not come from city water pump. It is a spring-fed river. That means the water comes from underground. So that's why it looks very murky, very dirty, kind of greenish. It's not the water. It's not purified water. It's water from the ground. And people will ask, where does the San Antonio River start? Good question. It starts exactly 3.5 miles north of San Antonio, north of here rather, at a place called the University of Incarnate Word. On their campus, you will find a well that they refer to as a blue hole. And if you look down that blue hole, you actually see springs coming out from the bottom of the earth right there. That is where the San Antonio River starts. This river is 240 miles long. 240 miles. Eventually, this river will dump into the Gulf Coast. Gulf Coast is only 150. Why is this river 240? Because it winds down like a snake, going down to 5 different counties before it actually reaches the Gulf Coast down there. San Antonio is a very, very old city. We just celebrated 300 years in the year 2018. 300 years of existence. So a lot of things in San Antonio are very old. And we're not even the oldest city in the state. Mercedes is older than we are, El Paso's older than we are. We just happen to have a lot of old things here in this city. For example, speaking of old things, you see that sign up ahead where it says Main Plaza? You know what resides there? San Fernando Cathedral, the oldest cathedral in the state of Texas. It has been here since the 1700s. 1731 to be exact. If you were to visit that cathedral today, you would find in the corner, one corner of that church, on the left side, you would find the ashes of the defenders of the Alamo and that church right there. You can see the walls from right here. Again, the oldest cathedral in the state of Texas. Now, as we exit the Commerce Street Bridge right here, you're going to see the biggest, the baddest, the boldest tree on the river wall. It is called the Ben Milam cypress tree. Check it out. Over 90 feet tall, over 250 years old, circumference of the bottom about 25 feet. Who's Ben Milam? He was a Texas patriot fighting the Mexican army here prior to the Battle of the Alamo. It is said that Ben Milam was shot by a sniper from this tree on December 7th, 1835, 3 months prior to the Battle of the Alamo. Thus here the name of the tree, the Ben Milam cypress tree. It is the biggest tree in the world. This is it right here. And right here where this boat sitting right now, this is the deepest part of the San Antonio River, about 40 to 50 feet right here below. This is the deepest part. In there is very, very shallow. Now I'm going to make a right turn to this gate right here, flood gate number 3. Very, very scary. You know what? It's like a vegetable slicer, like one big blade that just chops down. And they test it every day. They test it every day between 12:35 and 12:40. Anybody know what time it is? About that time? Should we go for it?
Yes.
I like this group. They ain't scared. All right, we're gonna go for it. We ain't scared no flood gate number 3. We get split up, we'll meet at the dock, alright? No, we're on. Flood gate number 2, here we go. Again, this gate would come down if we had rain, like the other one, that would go up, it would come down. Keep the water out of this U-shaped channel right here. Now, if you look to the left of the boat, you're going to see a white building. That white building is called the Drury Inn. Back in 1921, that building was a city public service building where people would come to pay their, ironically, their water bill. Well, let me tell you what happened in San Antonio on September 9th, 1921. If you look to the windows, you're going to spot the chandeliers. When you see those chandeliers, the water level on September 9th reached the bottom of those chandeliers right there. We were underwater, 8 feet above street level. 50 people lost their lives in that single day here in San Antonio. You know how? They lived on the west side of San Antonio near a river. So when the flash floods came, they washed their houses with people into that river like this. That is how we lost 50 residents in one single day. Now right there where that greenish yellowish boat's at, that is called the Aztec Theater. Eventually in 1926 it was a theater. It was a silent movie theater. For many years it became nothing, was just dormant. Then they started using it as a venue for concerts. Right now it's under renovation. So if you look to the right, that is the Aztec Theater. Next time you see it, you might see a sky bar in the background. Now look straight ahead. You see that bridge up ahead? Anybody familiar with Selena or Jennifer Lopez? All right. Just in case you're not familiar with Selena, let me tell you who Selena was. Selena Quintanilla was a beautiful 23-year-old Hispanic singer from down South Texas. Her music is very popular then and very popular today. On March 31st, 1995, the president of her fan club murdered Selena down in Corpus Christi, Texas. She was 23 years old when she was murdered. It happened almost 27 years ago. She would have been 51 in April of this year. In real life, her husband proposed to her on this bridge right here. And then come 1997, Jennifer Lopez said, I'm going to go to San Antonio to film a movie called Selena. So if you've seen that movie, this bridge right here is on the one in that movie. The Selena Bridge. Now let me ask all my guests one question. See if they have the right answer. Somebody might have the right answer. How many ducks do y'all think I hit a year? Show me in fingers. Don't give me the finger. Show me in fingers. How many ducks do y'all think I hit a year? 10, okay. 2, okay. Y'all good answer. There's the right answer. 4, okay. None, okay. 8, okay. Any more guesses before I give you the right answer? 12. Okay. The right answer is none. 0. You know why? Because they duck. Okay, for all of those that got the wrong answer, I'm going to give you, you can redeem yourself now. If I ever hit a duck, which I don't plan to hit a duck, but if I ever hit a duck and I injured a duck, you know they're fully insured by what insurance? Thank you. Somebody did Geico this morning. We almost do a month ago. Everyone look over here for a second. Look over here for a second. I want you to look at that building right there after we pass the bridge, okay? After we pass the bridge, I want you to look to the very top of that building right there. It's going to look pretty cool, guaranteed. And I'll slow it down so you can look. And I'll tell you what it is after we pass the bridge. Okay. Alright, I'm going to slow it down. Start looking up. Start looking up to the very top of that building I just went at. There you go. Looks like a single-sided building from this angle, right? Yeah. That used to be a hospital. It used to be called the Nix Building. It opened back in 1930. The first hospital in the U.S. that had air conditioned and indoor parking. It closed down about 2 years ago. Eventually, you know where it's going to be? Another hotel by the river. You know who was born here? Harold Burnett, the comedian, was born here. And so was Colonel Oliver North was born in Boston. Did you know that San Antonio is a military city? Did y'all know that? We have Lackland, we have Randolph, we have Fort Sam. Together they form the Joint Base San Antonio. And did you know that Lackland will graduate between 30 to 32,000 cadets a year? And the reason I'm saying that is, you might have noticed already, you might see young men and women in light blue uniforms, Air Force uniforms. They just graduated either yesterday or today. So if you see these young men and women, congratulate them and thank them for the service. They look like high school kids. Well, they probably are high school kids right out of high school. I enjoy having their parents, their relatives, and them on our boat. Again, thank them for their service. Right here, you have not been to Alamo. This is your shortcut right here. Even make a sign for you right there. The shop is Paseo del Alamo. Pass through here to get to the Alamo. kind of point of reference is the Alamo, located not too far from here. That's where we're at. Now, to the right of the building, to the right of the boat, rather, you see a pinkish building, the Casino Club of San Antonio. This building has been here since the 1930s. It's been a lot of things. It's been a warehouse. It's been a storage. It's been a museum. But actually, this was like the German population here. That their German population was immense. They outnumbered everybody. This was their watering hole. This was a casino. Obviously, right now, sawgrass in the bottom, condos and apartments on top. But do you know who stayed here in the past? Alex Haley Jr., the author of Roots, to spend some time right here in these condos. And so did Tommy Lee Jones. When they were filming the movie Thunderbirds, spend some time here. Now, I'm a San Antonian. I have been here all my life. And sometimes after the tours, guests will ask, hey, can you recommend a restaurant? Or what is my favorite restaurant? Believe it or not, my favorite restaurant is not even on this river. I like Mexican food, period. My favorite restaurant is called Mi Tierra. Look at it in Market Square. Yeah, you've been there, so I got a thumbs up rate. If you come to San Antonio, let me tell you this much. If you come to San Antonio and you don't make the trip to Market Square, you have not been to San Antonio. Market Square is a big chunk of the history of San Antonio. So, if you happen to be there, you're going to find a panaderia, bakery the size of this boat. You're going to see mariachi bar. You're going to see everything you find down here. You're going to find an F-fry down in Market Square. Now, if I needed to eat here, guess what? This will be my place to eat right on the right-hand side. You know why? You order guacamole, you know what to do? They bring all your ingredients to the table, chop them up for you, cut them up, squeeze the lemons, limes, and oranges right there in front of you. Yes, they do. It's called Boudreaux. That is my to-go place right here. Now, if you say, hey, I didn't come to San Antonio to eat, came down and get drunk, cross the river, home with a 60-ounce margarita. 60, not 16. That drink has 13 shots of tequila. Yes, it does. It does. So, if you order that drink, you better bring somebody with you because they will not serve you solo. I know, I found out the hard way. Now, straight ahead, those colorful umbrellas, if you see brochure, you see maps, you see anything, you see those colorful umbrellas, you know you're in San Antonio. That restaurant right there has been around since 1946. It is the oldest Mexican restaurant on the boardwalk. And you can tell which restaurants have the good nacho chips. Check out the ducks. They're not there, they're there for a reason. They like those nacho chips right there. It's a Tex-Mex food. That is not too bad. Not too bad at all. Now we made a full turn around the natural part of the river. We're going to make a left turn and go into the man-made part. Just slow down, make sure no boats are coming out. All right. This man-made that we're about to make a left turn was made for one reason and one reason only. 54 years ago, San Antonio had a World's Fair. I'm not going to tell you where were you 54 years ago, some of you weren't here. Anyway, 54 years ago, we had a World's Fair. 6 to 7 million people came to San Antonio to attend our World's Fair. So, San Antonio built this canal so we could take a guest from point A to point B where we're going. They could travel by boat, they could travel by individual paddle boats, or they could walk to the event right here. That is why this canal was built. And did you know that we clean this river every year? When I say clean, we drain it. Even the fish gotta go. Vamos, everybody out. Eventually, we'll bring the fish back, and then we'll fill up the river again with water. It takes 2 days to empty and 2 days to fill up. But the coolest part about draining the river, you know what it is to me? But the local newspaper will list the items that we find in the river like a week after the cleanup. Guess what is number one on that list item is? Bones. That is correct. Guess how many we found this year? 320. 320. It is so easy to drop them. This week alone, I have personally seen 3 phones drop in the water. Myself, I've seen 3 phones drop in the water. Like, oh my God, I know it can happen. Now, item number 2, we have a bunch of parades during the year downtown. We have River Parade, we have the parades of the Riverwalk, we have the Cavaliers Parade, the Pride Parade, a parade, we have 13 parades. So a lot of chairs are dropped in the water during the parade. Another thing we find is you know those razors, those birds, those scooters up on street level?
Yeah.
In the water. This year we found a parking meter. I'm the recorder and being recorded. Now look to the right of the boat, right? Look to the right of the boat. You see that beautiful structure right there? That is the Tower of the Americas. That was the centerpiece for the 1968 World's Fair. It is 750 feet tall. There is a restaurant on the very top. It's called the Chart House. Now, if you don't want to go to the restaurant, you can always go to the observation deck. Again, it is 750 feet tall. It is the second tallest freestanding structure in the U.S. Number one, Stratosphere in Vegas. Number three, Space Needle in Seattle. But that is number two right there. Look straight ahead. The newest addition to our Riverwalk. She is called Miss Stargazer. She's been here with us about 2 months. She is 16 foot tall, made out of 80 blocks of volcanic rock from Mexico. Pedro Reyes is the artist. Now, remember I was talking about my Tia Lupita? Well, when I bring her downtown, I said, that's you, Tia, right there. That beautiful face right there. You can't show her the other one of it. Again, she is called a Stargazer, and that star she's gazing at, it's a white marble star right there. Now we're entering the shop at River Center Mall. This mall has been around a long, long time. It has been here since 1988. If you have not been to this mall, let me tell you what two new additions or attractions we do have now. We have Legoland. It used to be, for kids, now it's like more for adults. Hey, Bart. And then we added a sea life, the aquarium, also here in River Center. So those are two new attractions that you might want to partake before you leave San Antonio if you're just visiting. Now look to the right of the boat. You're going to see a big hotel. That is the Marriott River Center. It is a 1,000 room hotel. You probably say, why did you mention a hotel? There's a whole bunch of those. Well, that Marriott was built back in 1988, right? This big one over here on the right hand side. It's a 1,000 room hotel. Well, back in 85, when Marriott arrived in town and said, hey, I want to build my hotel right there on the right-hand side. Guess what? In 1906, there was a hotel was being built there. It's called the Fairmont. That hotel, again, it's been there since 1905. So, we cannot destroy, we cannot alter, we cannot demolish historical buildings like that. So Marriott said, okay, what are we going to do with this building? It's in our way. We need to build this 1,000 room hotel. San Antonio has a very, very good conservation society. They said, you know what? We're going to move it. It is a 3-story, 16,000 ton hotel. You just don't pick it up and carry it like a tow truck, right? So they put it on dollies, on pneumatic tires, and it actually did travel through the streets of San Antonio. It took 4 days to move 2 big city blocks. But the real story about this hotel moving, it reached a bridge called the Market Street Bridge. I'm going to show you in a second. When that hotel was crawling along, it stopped right there at the bridge. All of a sudden, San Antonio got scared. Like, oh my God, what if this bridge does not hold this hotel? What if this hotel falls in the water? We're really going to make history. Well, for a whole day, it stood still. We still didn't know what to do. Should we cross it or not? Texas ingenuity kicks in at that day. You know what? They said, we know how we're going to test it if we're going to make it. So they put wine bottles at the crevices of the bridge. All wine bottles right there. They said, you know what? When we start crawling this hotel across the bridge, if those wine bottles break, guess what? The bridge is not going to hold. Well, they put the wine bottles. They start crawling that hotel across the river, and guess what? Nothing happened. Not one single bottle broke. That is a true story, believe it or not. On that, and I'll show you the bridge we're talking about, the Market Street Bridge. So that hotel now moved from here to this new home in Nueva in South Alamo. If you're familiar with San Antonio by Hemisphere Park, you'll see Fairmont Hotel. That big hotel used to belong over here. That was the old house. Now we've seen locations, we've seen River Center, we passed through the Aztec, and you guys noted in Historia. These are all different departure sites for Go Rio, but they're all the same tour. Just an FYI. Some people think that they're different tours. They're all the same tour. Now, once I pass this footbridge right here, if you look to the left of the boat, you're going to see that bridge on the bottom. It's called Market Street Bridge, and you might actually see the traffic lights. Just so you get a glimpse of what the bridge looks like. Alright, if you look over there to the left of the boat, that's the bridge I was talking about. This Market, where the traffic lights, that's it. There's actually a YouTube video. You can actually watch it on YouTube. That Fairmont Hotel. Now, to the right of the boat, You see this beautiful statue right there? That is San Antonio de Padua. St. Anthony de Padua. The city of San Antonio is named after that saint. The River Walk is named after that saint. That was a gift from Portugal to Texas for the 1968 World Fair. It's sat in the exhibition in their pavilion over there. Now, I'm gonna kind of point to the top of street level between the trees. You might be able to see a church. That church used to be called St. Joseph German Catholic Church. The German population, like I mentioned earlier in San Antonio, 1800s, 1900s, they outnumbered everybody. They had their own church, built 1868, over 100 years ago. So little towns like New Braunfels, New Berlin, Scherlenberg, Burnley, Green, Fredericksburg, on and on, continue to grow north. But if you went to that church in today, or you would be just amazed how beautiful that church is. The only thing in German today in that church, the last Sunday of every month, the choir still performs in German. That is about it. Now look to the left of the boat. You might be able to see it coming out once we pass this noisy boat. The Hilton Palacio de Rio. That hotel made national news, made national TV as a matter of fact. It's got a 21-minute YouTube video of itself. You know why? You say, well, just another hotel. It is. It was built 54 years ago for the 1968 World Fair. San Antonio did not have enough room for its guests that were coming to the World Fair. So, we needed a builder to build this hotel really, really fast. Step in, H.P. Zachary, designer, contractor, engineer, builder. Say, you know what, San Antonio? I can build you a 500-room hotel in under 200 days. Like, that was impossible. You don't do stuff like that. He said, I'm going to build it the unconventional way. Well, you know what that meant? Well, we soon find out what he was talking about. While he was building this hotel downtown, the shaft, the frame, the foundation, guess what he was doing on the south side of town? He was building the room for this hotel. There was no rooms in this hotel. None of these rooms were built here on site. They were built somewhere else, and then they were brought downtown. When those rooms arrived downtown on flatbed trucks, guess what? They were carpeted, the beds were made, dishes were hung, the Bible nightstand, the towels in the rack, the color TV was displayed. It was a matter of unwrapping the room, picking it up with a crane, and plugging it in like a Lego block. That is why he was able to build a 500-room hotel in 202 working days. Again, if you watch a 21-minute video in the Hilton Palacio video, it will depict everything I'm talking about this afternoon. It opened up 1 week prior to the start of the 1968 World Fair. Pretty cool story in that hotel. Now, we're about to exit here. You know, hundreds of years ago, the Payaya Indians roamed these lands right here. But the river walk has always been right there. That river right there has always been forever and ever. They used to call that river the Yanaguana. That is what the Payaya Indians named it. It means peaceful waters. Why they changed it, I don't know. I think it's a pretty cool name for that river right there. I'm going to slow it down, make sure no one's coming out. And I think we're good to go. Once we make a left turn here, guess what, guys? We're going to be back home. Alright. So at this point, I always tell my guests, please check around. Make sure you have all your belongings when you start packing yourself with anything you brought. Don't forget nothing. Especially kids, take them off. Take them off. Now, I know it's short, I know it was sweet, and I hope you learned a little bit about San Antonio, and maybe just one day you want to do this all over again. If you agree with me, then I want to hear a nice little round of applause. Alright, thank you. Always thank you. Now myself and all these guys related to dry boats, we're like waiters in the river. We work on tips. I'm going to put my tip jar there. Oh, it's already there. Anything you want to donate, no tip to welcome and no tip to accept it. Alright, give me about a minute. Let me anchor the boat and we'll get you down. Alright? Thank you.